Have you ever stopped and thought, whoa, this is all running on code now? It seems like everything these days from, ordering food to those self-driving cars, it's all software. But it's wild. Making that software is still so much harder than it needs to be. So what if I told you there are these tools out there right now that could totally change that? Tools that could help a million more people become developers.
And it's not just some futuristic dream either. This is happening right now.
Seriously, we're talking about a future where making software isn't just for coding whizzes, you know?
Yeah, and it's the perfect timing too, because we're seriously short on developers right now. And it's not just a tech industry problem either. This is impacting everything, like how we design cities, healthcare, I mean, you name it.
It's huge, and that's actually what we're diving into today. You've sent over a ton of info on V0, Cursor AI, Replit, and Claude AI, and honestly, this stuff is next level.
Totally. These tools are completely changing the game.
So basically, we're about to break down each of these tools, how they work, and why, even if you're coding, what's that? You should still care.
Absolutely.
Think of it this way. Claude AI, it's like having this AI coding buddy right next to you. And then Cursor AI, that's your super intuitive coding notepad.
And then you've got V0 that helps you build beautiful user interfaces really quickly.
And to top it all off, Replit, it's like Google Docs, but for software. You can code with your friends in real time.
Exactly. Collaboration is key.
For sure. So let's kick things off with Claude AI, because this one really blew our minds. Picture this. You can explain what you want your code to do in plain English, and this AI is say no more, and just generates the code for you.
It's a total game changer. Instead of needing to know all the specific commands and syntax.
All that jargon. Right.
Exactly. Claude AI just gets what you're trying to do. It understands your intent.
It's like having a friend who speaks fluent computer, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And the best part is it can generate code from just simple prompts.
Yeah.
Which is amazing whether you're a coding pro or just starting out.
It's like magic, but it's real. And it's not just about spitting out lines of code either. It actually makes your code, better.
Way more efficient.
Yeah.
One of the things we read about was how Claude AI can actually refactor your code.
Okay, so refactor, for those of us who don't speak code.
Basically, it takes a messy chunk of your code and reorganizes it so that it's way more efficient. But the best part,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually change what the code does, just how it does it.
So wait, I can be hey, Claude, make this code faster and easier to read, and it'll just do it.
Pretty much. In fact, one of the sources had this really cool example. They talked about how Claude AI helped this developer take this super complex function and simplify it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that made it so much easier for everyone else to understand and work with, which is super important when you're collaborating on a project.
Totally. It's how sometimes you wish you could debug human communication.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we could just refactor our sentences to make sure our meaning was crystal clear?
That would be a game changer for sure.
No more misunderstandings.
Right.
No more arguments. Okay, so speaking of making things easier, let's talk about Cursor AI. This one's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Forget typing out code. Imagine just talking to your computer, telling it what you want, and it's boom, done.
It's mind-blowing.
So for our listeners who might not be coding gurus, what we're talking about here is an IDE.
Which stands for Integrated Development Environment. Basically, it's the software you use to write and edit code.
Like your coding notepad.
Exactly. But Cursor AI, this is next level stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's like having an AI pair programmer looking over your shoulder,
Whoa, that'd be intense.
Yeah. It uses something called natural language processing.
Which basically means...
It understands what you're saying, in plain English.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk code to it.
You mean I can be hey, Cursor, refactor this for me, and it'll actually get it?
Yep. You can literally type commands refactor this or generate unit tests, and it's no problem.
That's insane. It's remember when we first got Siri and Alexa?
Yeah.
It's like that, but for making software. It's a total game changer.
Huge. And the crazy part is it actually learns your coding style over time.
So the more you use it,
the smarter it gets.
it starts finishing your sentences for you.
Kinda. It's it anticipates what you're going to need before you even ask, which is pretty cool.
That's wild. So we've got our AI assistant that helps us write the code, and now we've got our intuitive IDE that speaks our language. What's next in this developer's paradise?
Well, now we've got to make all those lines of code actually do something right.
Bring them to life.
Exactly. We need to turn them into apps, websites, things that people can actually use. And that's where V0 and Replit come in.
All right, let's talk V0 first. What's it all about?
So V0 tackles this crucial part of software development called front-end development.
Now, front-end development, break that down for us non-techies.
Sure, it's basically building the part of the app or website that you actually see and interact with.
Okay, so like the design, the buttons, all that.
Exactly. And V0 is amazing at this because it uses this really cool duo, Flutter and Dart.
Flutter and Dart, now those sound familiar.
Yeah, they're super popular in the development world, and for good reason.
Okay, so why should our listener care about these two?
Well, for starters, Flutter lets you build your app once, and then boom, you can launch it on both Apple and Android phones, even on the web, all with the same code.
No way, that's insane. So I don't have to like build it separately for every single device.
Nope, one code base to rule them all. That's the beauty of cross-platform compatibility.
That's a game changer, especially for like indie developers or smaller companies.
Absolutely. Saves a ton of time and money. Plus, Flutter has this really cool feature called Hot Reload.
Hot reload, that sounds intense. What's that do?
So as you're coding and making changes, you can actually see those changes happen in the app in real time.
No way. There's no like waiting for things to compile or anything.
Nope, it's instant. It makes the whole development process so much faster and more interactive.
That's amazing. It's like having a live preview as you're designing. Okay, so we've gone from idea to code to this awesome multi-platform app, all thanks to V0. Now, where does Replit fit into this whole process?
Replit's where the magic of collaboration really comes in. It's like, imagine you and your friends are all working on a project together.
Yeah.
But instead of sending code back and forth or trying to explain your changes over a video call, you can all code together in real time.
Whoa, seriously.
It's like Google Docs, but for software development.
That's a game changer for teamwork.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you're all huddled around the same computer, brainstorming and building together.
It's like having a superpower.
Yeah.
You know, like you're all in this quoting hive mind, building something amazing together.
Exactly. And that kind of energy is what really drives innovation.
100%. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here. We've talked about AI assistants, intuitive coding environments, and collaborative tools that make building software feel like a party. But for our listeners, what's the main takeaway? What does this all actually mean in the grand scheme of things?
I think it boils down to this.
Yeah.
It's about making technology accessible to everyone. These tools have the potential to empower anyone, no matter their background, to bring their ideas to life. Remember that whole million new developers thing?
Yeah.
With tools like these breaking down the barriers to entry, it's not just a possibility, it's almost inevitable.
I love that. And it's not just about the numbers either. It's about the diversity of thought and experience that a million new developers would bring to the table. Imagine artists, educators, small business owners, people from all walks of life building the tools and technology of the future.
Exactly. It would completely change the landscape of what's possible. We could start solving problems in ways we never even thought of before.
And it's not just about creating cool apps and websites. It's about giving more people a voice in how technology shapes our world, right?
100%. It's about democratizing innovation.
I love it. It's like empowering. But it also makes you wonder, if coding becomes this accessible, what does that mean for like traditional education? Like what happens to coding boot camps or even computer science degrees?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Well,
It's hard to say for sure what the future holds, but it's definitely something worth thinking about.
totally. Will these tools replace traditional education or will they just enhance it? Will we see a whole new wave of self-taught developers taking the tech world by storm?
Who knows? But one thing's for sure, it's going to be an exciting ride.
That is for sure. Well, on that note, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the future of software development. If this has got your coding gears turning, be sure to check out the show notes for links to all the amazing tools we talked about.
And if you end up building the next big thing because of this episode, be sure to let us know.
Absolutely. We love hearing from our listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.